Good morning, my viewers. This is your regular host, Valentine. The topic before us is angle. We'll be talking about angle, and this is the most basic aspect of angle. So, first thing first, we need to look at the types of angle. The first type of angle we'll be considering is the acute angle. Say an acute angle is an angle that is less than 90 degree and is in this shape. Can see the way it is drawn. This is an angle that is less than 90 degree and is known as acute angle. Then we look at a right angle triangle. Right angle triangle, this is this small square is that symbol. Whenever you see it, you know it is a right angle triangle. Remember, no one will tell you that. And it is very possible that this right angle triangle can be drawn in any shape. It can be in any shape or any form. It can be something like this. It can be something like this. So I want you to know that no matter the position, no matter the form, as long as you can notice this small square be drawn, you know this is a right angle triangle. And a right angle triangle is that triangle or angle that has 90 degree. Then we look at obtuse angle. Say obtuse angle is an angle that is between 90 degree and 180 degree. So it is between 90 and 180 degree and it's known as obtuse angle. Then we look at the reflex angle. We say that reflex angle is that angle that is above 180 degree. You can see it's above 180 degree, but up to 360 degree, because we know that the total sum of angles around the point is 360. So its reflex angle is that angle that is above 180 degree and up to 360 degree. Or better still, just get it at the back of your mind that reflex angle is that angle that is above 180 degree. Then we move on to the next slide. This is another aspect of angles we need to consider too. So the first one we say the sum of angles on a straight line is 180 degree. I repeat, the sum of angles on a straight line is 180 degree. So you can see A plus B is equal to 180. Then we look at the next angle fact. Angles around the point add up to 360. You can see angles around the point add up to 360. Or better still, put in another way, the sum of angles around a point equals to 360. It doesn't matter as long as you know, and the sentence doesn't matter because in exam situations you're expected to write even if it's a short one line sentence. Yeah, that reminds me, I one of my learners once asked me, as long as I can do this mathematically, that is enough. Yes, they are right, but the question is because for every examinations we are always guided by marking scheme, and being privileged to watch or invigilate past exams, I see that in the marking schemes, you're expected to write a sentence. It's not enough showing the mathematical working out. Please remember to write a sentence. So this is just a short straight line sentence, and you can only memorize this, and you can only remember this if you keep practicing it. It's possible to remember them as long as you take out time to practice, practice and practice and keep on practicing. Then the third angle fact is vertically opposite angles are equal. As you can see, H is equal to I and F is equal to G. You can see angles here. It's a vertically opposite angle. You can see this is equal to this and this is equal to this. Then let's move on to the next slide. Yeah, this is a typical example. Um, these are really straightforward questions. So let me see which one do we attempt. Okay, let's look at this fact. We'll be looking at this and will encourage my learners or viewers to make attempt at the other one. Then they move on to the next slide to cross-check their answers. So I will encourage them to do that honestly. Okay, let's look at this one because you are asked to give reason for your answer. So we'll be trying this first one and this one too. Okay, let's look at this. So work out the size of the angle marked Y and give reason for your answer. As stated in the previous slide, I said, as long as you can spot this small square, we conclude that this is a right angle and which is 90 degree. So once you spot this, you are more than 50% okay. So this becomes because we are asked to find the size of the angle marked Y. So that will be Y plus 90 plus 110 is equal to 360. Reason. Angles around the point angles around the point add up to 360. As easy as that. So please, I will encourage my learners or viewers to please master this. You only master this once you practice. Add up to 360. This is the reason. 360 degree. Reason. Angles around the point add up to 360. So we'll continue with our calculation. So y plus 90 plus 110 should be 200. 200 is equal to 360. At this point, we collect our like terms. So we'll say our y is equal to 360. Once this positive 200 crosses the equality sign, once it crosses the equality sign, remember, please be conscious of the sign in front of this. This is positive 200. Once it crosses the equality sign, it changes to minus 200. So the value for our y is 360 minus 200 is 160 degree. So this becomes 160 degree. Our answer is 160 degree. Please, you can see the steps. As long as you can figure this out to be 90 degree, the next steps are a lot easier. And remember your algebra. Remember your algebra. So what you just needed to do is to add 110 plus 90 degree, then you take it away from 360. That will give you 160 degree. Reason, remember your reason. Angles around the point add up to 360. As said or as mentioned in the previous sessions, every mark is very important. The loss of one mark can be devastating. So I will encourage my learners, please learn to stick to and pay attention to details. If the question asks you to state the reason, please do so that you can stand a better chance in getting that desired grade or outcome. The same thing with this. So let's look at this. So as usual, if you can spot this, so this is 90 degree, 90 degree. For me, in these questions, you were not asked to state the reason, but nothing stops you to prove that you really know what you are doing. Nothing stops you to to state the reason, because who knows, you can get marks associated to that. So this becomes x plus 68 degree plus 90 degree is equal to 180. Is equal to 180 degree. Reason. As stated earlier, you were not asked to put it, but if there is time, please, I'll encourage you to put it if there is time. So you can just say sum of angles, sum of angles on a straight line. As simple and as short as that. Sum of angles on a straight line. The sum of angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. So this is on a straight line. So sum of angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. So that will be x plus 68 plus 90 degrees should be 158. That's 158 degrees is equal to 180. I repeat, reason, sum of angles on a straight line. So we'll now find the value of x. You collect your like terms, so x is equal to 180 minus 158. So the value for our x is equal to 22 degree. So the value of our x is 22 degree. As stated earlier, it's all about practicing. With this basic angle facts, it's all about practicing. The more you practice them, the more you tend to memorize and remember the reasons behind the angle facts. Because once you know them, you are more than average okay. So please, I will encourage my learners to have a go at this. Yes, you can do all the necessary mistakes during your personal revision, during your group revision, but please try as much as possible to reduce such mistakes in any formal exams or assessments. So let's move on to the answer slide to cross-check our answers. So you can see we are correct. We are correct at those points. and we are correct. Even though this question does not ask us to state the reason, but for me, it's better to be safe than sorry. If it is not stated, it's fine, but nothing stops you to put the reason. But if it is stated and you omit it, you are losing a mark for that. So please, I will encourage my viewers and my learners to keep practicing so that they can remember, so that they can memorize the reasons behind each angle facts. So let's move on to the next slide. Yeah, these are the types of triangles, the most common types of triangle we have, and there are four in number. These are four triangles. So the first one is isosceles. Please, as I mentioned earlier, I've been taught as stated while in lesson. Please, this mark is not a design. This is not a design. This mark, this straight line has a reason. It means two sides are equal and two angles are equal. So this is an isosceles triangle. Two equal sides and two equal angles. Remember, this signifies that the two sides are equal and the angles are equal. Then we look at an equilateral triangle. You can see the mark here. There are three at this point. One, two, three. This means three sides are equal and three angles are equal. Three sides equal and three angles are equal. Remember, this is an equilateral triangle. Equilateral. Equilateral triangle means the the angles are equal and it has three sides equal. Then, of course, we know what a right angle triangle is. As I said, please look out for this little box. This shows or this depicts the angle is a right angle triangle. Then the last type of triangle we know is a scaling triangle. A scaling triangle is a triangle where none of the sides or no angles are equal. So it can be in this shape. A scaling triangle can be in this shape. It doesn't matter. It can be in this shape where none of the sides or angles are equal. Please note all these little facts about triangles. It will go a long way in making a difference while solving problems on angles. Let's move on to the next slide. Yeah, and this is a triangle. This is a common triangle fact that all angles, remember, irrespective of the type of triangle you are dealing with, all angles in a triangle add up to 360. Oh, sorry, all angles in a triangle add up to 180 degree, irrespective if it is an isosceles, equilateral, right angle triangle, or scaling. Every angle in a triangle, all the angles in a triangle add up to 180 degree. So this is just like an example. As you can see, this is an isosceles triangle. You can see two sides and two angles are equal. Remember, this mark, as mentioned earlier, is not for design. This mark tells you the properties of this it tells you the properties of this particular triangle. It states that two sides are equal, two angles are equal. So for example, we can see this is x and this is 40 degree, and you can see this mark and you are told to find the angle x. Remember, what this simply means is these two angles here are equal and two sides are equal. So luckily we'll be given one of the sides. So how to solve that is you take this 40 away from 180 degree. Reason, the sum of angles in a triangle add up to 180 degree. So you take 40 away from 180 degree, your answer becomes 140 degree. And remember, this is an isosceles triangle. So what you just need to do is to divide 140 by 2 and you get 70. So this should be 70 degree and this is also 70 degree. So such that if you add both sides and this, you get 180 degree. So 70 plus 70 will be 140. 140 plus 40 degree will give us 180 degree. So I will encourage my learners or viewers, it's all about practice. I've been doing this for the past, officially, I've been doing this for the past 4 years. So with this, because with a constant practice, that is why I've been able to memorize them. So I will encourage my viewers or learners with constant practice, you are definitely going to remember this. So let's move on to the next slide and see if there are class activities we can solve together. So this is another class activity. Let's see. I will look at this one because from what I discovered, there are lots of misconception about this. So I'll look at this, and once I look at this, I will encourage my viewers or learners to have a go at the other two. So the question says, work out the size of angle Y. Work out the size of angle Y. In summary, so what we just needed to do is to get the value of this space. So once you have the value of the space, whatever you have, you can now subtract it from 180 degree to get this. So remember, we can call this, maybe probably, let's call it angle Z. I've stated in maths, it doesn't matter any alphabet you use. It doesn't matter as long as your working out is correct and perfect. So in this case, we are trying to first of all find the angle Z here. So to find the angle Z here, so we'll say Z plus 120 degree plus 35 is equal to 180. The question is why 180? Reason. You put the reason. Sum of angles. Sum of angles. Sum of angles in a triangle. Sum of angles in a triangle. This is the reason. So our Z, the value for our Z plus, so that's 120 plus 35 should be 155, if I'm not mistaken. So let's do it together. 120 plus 35 is 155. 155. So that will be 155 is equal to 180. 180 degree. Then the value for our Z, the value for Z is equal to 180 minus 155. 180 minus 155 will give us 25 degree. So the value for our Z is 25. Remember, you are not stopping here because the question says we should find the value for Y. So we've gotten the value for our z. That means this angle here is 25 degree, such that 120 plus 35 plus 25 will give us 180. So the sum of angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. So we've gotten the value of the angle z. Now the question says work out the size of angle y. So what we just needed to do is we'll say y plus 25 degree is equal to 180 degree. Reason, angles on a straight line. Reason, sum of angles on a straight line. On a straight line. Sum of angles on a straight line. So reason sum of angles on a straight line. Remember, this is a straight line. So the value for our y will now be 180. This is positive 25. Once it crosses the equality sign, it changes to negative. So that will be negative 25. At the end of the day, our answer is 180 minus 25 will give us 155 degree. The value for our y is 155 degree. And this is a 3-mark question. You can see the steps. I will encourage my learners, please. It's always good and it is always safe to show your step-by-step solution. That will go a long way, putting you in a safe position such that you definitely get the required grade or score attached to each question. And at the end of the day, as mentioned earlier, the sky is just your starting point. So once you've done this, please move on to the next slide, to the answer session, and cross-check your answer. Please do that honestly. 155. This is correct. This is correct. So let's move on to the next slide. Yeah, this is just for additional information. I will encourage my viewers or learners to read this. This is self-explanatory. I don't want us to waste much time on this slide. So let's move on. Now this has to do with parallel lines. This is a parallel line. So this, we need to point out some basic facts. So we say on this parallel line, as usual, this arrow-like mark is not for design. So this is trying to tell us that these two lines are parallel. So on parallel lines, you say angles that are vertically opposite are the same. Vertically opposite angles are the same. Then we look at this perpendicular line, just like I stated. Once you spot this little box, you know this is a 90 degree. Perpendicular lines, you say these perpendicular lines, they meet at the point of 90 degrees. So you can see this horizontal line and this is the vertical line. Vertical line, horizontal line. They meet at this point to form 90 degree. Remember, this straight line, please, is known as the vertical line. This is your vertical line. for those going for an exam. So like I can spell this. This is the vertical line. Little information matters when it comes to preparing for an exam. The vertical line. The vertical line is just a straight line, this straight line that goes from up downwards. And this line here is the horizontal line. This is the horizontal line. Horizontal, horizontal line, horizontal line. Please, I will encourage my viewers and learners, please spot the difference. Every little information matters as long as we are preparing for formal exams or any formal assessments. Remember, as mentioned earlier, this is a quick revision guide such that you can always lay your hands on them on your phone, on any source of device, any form of device you have, so that this will help you aid or support you during your personal or group revision exercise. So we can say, let's move on. As stated earlier, this mark is not for design. This tells you that these two lines are parallel and the vertically opposite angles are equal. The same thing as this. So let's move on to the next slide and see more facts. And another one is these are basic facts too. So this has to do with parallel lines. So one other fact about parallel line is that alternate angles are equal. You can see this looks like a Z shape. You can see the way it goes. You can see where it goes. So alternate, you can see alternate angles are equal. So if here is 10, definitely here will be 10. If here is 50, definitely here too will be 50. Then the next one we are talking about is co-interior or allied angles add up to 180 degree. So interior, you can see co-interior means A and B, they are inside this shape that looks like C and at the same time or looks like U. You can see this is a shape that looks like C and this has a shape that looks like U. So what they are trying to say is allied or co-interior angles add up to 180 degree. Then we need to look at corresponding angles. So we'll say corresponding angles are equal. So if here is 20 degree, definitely here too will be 20 degree. Yeah, we'll come to appreciate this once we have some exercises to practice. So we can see this is 20 degrees definitely. If here is 20 degree, definitely here too will be 20 degree. And this is an example. So I will encourage viewers or learners to look at this example. Is self-explanatory, but I would like to skip this example because of time. So let's move on to a class activity. I will look at one of these questions and for these questions, then I will encourage my viewers or learners to continue the other ones. And once they've completed that, they can move on to the answer slides to cross-check the answer. So let's see, let me look at a more difficult one. So I will look at this because this has more than one steps. So remember, give reason for your answer. So let's look at this. We can call this angle here. There are so many ways. So from what I spot, you can, this and this is the same. So this is alternate angles are equal. So if here is 59, definitely here will be 59. Then this is a straight line. You can see this is a straight line. This is a straight line, so the other one is angles on the straight line add up to 180. So it doesn't matter which aspect you follow, you get the same answer. Or you can see this is 59. Here also can be 59. Reason corresponding angles are equal. Then you can see this is a straight line too. So sum of angles on the straight line will give us 180. Then you find the value for your x. So in essence, in summary, you either go through this route or you go this route. They are all the same. You arrive at the same destination. So for me, let me go through this route. If here is 59, here too will be 59. So you can call here y. It doesn't matter. So it's just to differentiate the angles. So if here is 59, the value for y is 59. So I can say y is equal to 59. Reason alternate angles are equal. So you are asked to give your reason. So I can put it here. Alternate angles, alternate. Please be conscious of your spelling. Alternate angles, alternate angles are equal or the same. They are all a function of sentence and choice. Alternate angles. The value for y is 59. Reason alternate angles are equal. That's the first step. Then we can say this is a straight line. This is a straight line. So we can say, because we are asked to find the value of x, the next step will be x plus 59 equal to 180 degree. Reason sum of angles on the straight line is 180 degree. Sum of angles, sum of, remember this is m, sum of angles, sum of angles on a straight line. Straight line. Sum of angles on a straight line. Sum of angles on a straight line. So the value for x will be 180. This is 59 plus 59. Once plus 59 crosses the equality sign, it changes to negative 59. The value for our x is 180 minus 59 degree will give us 121 degree. I will encourage my learners, please do well, have a go at this. You can always make references to the previous slides. Any mistakes, anything you don't understand, you can always reach me on my comment section. I will be able to see it, then do justice to any questions. So once you've completed this, this is your final answer. You can see we have two steps. First of all, this is 59 and this is 59. Reason alternate angles are equal, because the question says we should give reasons for your answer. So I used y to make life a lot easier. So it doesn't matter in maths, any alphabet you use. So this y is just to differentiate the angles I am looking for. So if here is y is 59, raising alternate angles are equal. And you can see this is a straight line. Reason sum of angles on a straight line is 180 degrees. So you subtract 59 from 180 to give you 121 degree. So let's move to the answer slide to cross check our answer. You can see this is a lot of sentences to chew. This is a lot. So I've been able to simplify it on the previous slides. You can stick to this. I know this is a lot to remember. Just remember the short fact that you can see this the authors here used angle B. So it doesn't matter. So as long as you know what you are doing, you are good to go. This is the same answer. So I will encourage all my learners, please practice this, practice this. If you have any concerns, any challenges, please reach me through my comment section and I'll be more than happy to help. Thank you very much and I'll see you at the next session. Thank you and thank you. This is your regular host, Valentine. Bye. Bye.